Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Real Watchers live stream for September 26th. I am your co-host, Garrett. And Adrian's muted, but that is, in fact, Adrian.
And I am Adrian.
So good, he has to say it twice. Alrighty, everyone. How are you all doing tonight? Hope you're all doing well. Before we jump in, Adrian, how have you been over this last week?
Good. Been doing a lot of fun stuff. Watched a movie, actually, which I'll cover later. But yeah, it's been good. Looking forward to the weekend, though, already, and it's only Tuesday, so...
I 100% feel you there. As for me, besides being eaten alive by mosquitoes over the last weekend, I'm all right. We're there. But we got some good news to talk about today. And the good news today is enough to make anyone excited. So we might as well just jump in, because I'm sure if any of you follow movies or anything whatsoever, you'd know that the WGA and the AMPTP have reached a tentative agreement. And as of within the last 2 hours, the WGA has voted unanimously to lift the strike order, which the strike will officially be over at 12:01 a.m. tomorrow morning. This is huge.
Yeah, it's a great kind of sign that the remaining strike as well is on its way to being mended, because, I mean, obviously reaching an agreement was thought impossible for quite a while. So it's amazing to see. Yeah,
and we still have no idea what's been included in the deal yet, which concessions the studios have had to make versus the writers having to make. The only thing I do know is that the inclusion of AI was really what took up to the last second of negotiations for this, getting the real fine details added in. And knowing how people are these days, there might not be a unanimous vote, because they are going to be voting on it over the course of October 2nd through the 9th to ratify it. And they could vote to not if they're not happy with what they get. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, I think the thing that they may really get hung up on is the fact that I was able to sneak in there that I get 2% of all film revenue ever. That might be a holding point. I'm not sure. I thought I was underballing both sides, but we'll see.
Yeah, every film release ever that's pretty good.
And that's me compromising.
And if you don't see Adrian on the podcast, that's why he's moved on to bigger and better things.
This podcast will instantly be a full feature film next week.
Yep. But yeah, huge news. Excited for writers to get back to work, and hopefully some projects that were in the beginning stages can continue on now. Now we just got to get the Actors Guild done. Yeah.
And speaking of, as if waiting no time at all, Star Trek 4 writer announces sequel is moving forward. Pretty much waiting for this news to drop, because clearly he was working during the strike. And now he is ready for this to go forward.
I'm sure it was in development hell before the strikes anyway. So the fact that they're saying the sequel is moving forward, a lot of people weren't too big a fan of Star Trek Beyond. So hopefully this fourth one could fix some of the issues that people had.
I think it's still an entertaining movie. I thought it lost its way a bit, but it is like an action film more than a sci-fi film.
Sure.
For Beyond. So yeah, I hope they can get a little more steered back towards sci-fi.
Yeah. We'll have yet to see what ends up happening with that. But moving on to another category. This is a really cool category. I said that early. The Golden Globes today have announced that they are adding 2 categories to their awards show this coming year. And there's some really interesting ones. So the first one is Best Performance in Stand-Up. Or in stand-up comedy on television. So it has to be a stand-up comedy special that's more than 30 minutes, which is really interesting that we're getting a Golden Globe for stand-up.
I think it makes sense. I feel like we see a lot of Netflix specials from comedians that everybody watches. Like they're nationwide sensations of like, did you watch it? Did you watch it? So I think it makes sense to actually create an award for that, because they're buzzing and they're the talk of the town, and I think it's valid.
Sure. It's a little bit later than when it actually came out, but I'm going to call this the Bo Burnham Inside rule, where it actually had to create a category, because Inside got nothing at the Oscars or at the Golden Globes.
It didn't fit into any category.
Unfortunately, but now it does.
I didn't know. Yeah. Maybe it'll retroactively, or they might do like a in honor of moment. It might not get the award, but it may be
maybe
an in honor of, yeah.
So there's going to be 6 nominees for that category for anything that can come in. And then the other one is pretty big. This is Cinematic and Box Office Achievement. So essentially, they're putting an award out to reward blockbusters. So the movies that don't typically get Best Picture nominations that, a lot of people think should, will get nominations here. Things like Barbie, Oppenheimer, the big box office kind of movies will be included in this category, which it's going to be getting 8 nominees for this.
And I think this is interesting because with the schedule for releases that are set for Avatar films, it's kind of, I don't know, because like obviously Avatar for a lot of people wasn't movie of the year or best director or anything like that. This feels like a way to give James Cameron an award without giving him an award. Like this.
Well, I don't think it's necessary. It's not like you made the most money. Here's your award. I think it's like the best of the blockbusters.
Oh, so it's like you're the top 8, and now let's pick the best of these movies.
Yeah,
that's fair. I thought it was just going to the highest.
Yeah, I can pretty much guarantee this award, if they're doing it for this year, will probably go to Barbie. But
fair enough. I misunderstood when I read the achievement part of it. I thought it was just they're going to pick the top one of the year, but it's a competition between.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people who would say like, oh, like this gives movies like Talk to Me a chance at getting a Golden Globe nomination, or
like Paranormal Activity, right? Just the revenue per cost.
Revenue, but also how good a movie is, right? If it's not a good movie, it's not going to get nominated, but you never know.
Sure.
So those are the 2 new awards categories, which is pretty exciting.
Very. And speaking of pretty exciting news, Spirit Halloween, the movie, which, as you totally know, makes complete sense, gets a theatrical release and streaming debut. It's going to come out directly to Shudder on October 2nd. But if you are in a lucky area or probably like a Regal cinema, you might get it in your theater on October 13th to limited release.
Look at any abandoned big building or department store, and you'll find a place that's showing Spirit Halloween. You can actually go to it live in person.
I hope it's just a time lapse of an abandoned building and then them putting the sign up. Also, does anyone ever remember them setting up Spirit Halloweens, or do they just open one day?
They're definitely like a cosmic entity that just appears every August, September.
I think that's where you go when you go to Purgatory, is a Spirit Halloween.
But to be fair though, because of how popular they become, like they do get some really cool like horror memorabilia stuff.
Oh,
just go check out our friend Horror and More, our good friend Nadia. She has videos that she posts about it where they go and take a look at everything. And there was some really cool like Mars Attack stuff this year. They had a lot of Killer Clowns from Outer Space stuff last year. So
you have to go early and you have to know what to look for, but and not the costumes necessarily. If you go for like the actual props, they do have some really high quality stuff.
Yeah. And then all I know about the movie is that it stars Christopher Lee. Oh my gosh, the wrong Christopher. Christopher Lee's dead. The one from Back to the Future. I can't remember his name. Oh my gosh, this is going to drive me nuts. Christopher Lloyd, excuse me. Yeah, Christopher Lloyd was in it. Yeah, thank you. So that is going to be coming soon. Next up, speaking of Halloween things, Miramax is currently looking for a new home for the Halloween franchise. It is currently shopping around movie and TV rights to different studios, different production companies, which, they did the latest trilogy at Universal, so they're probably going to do new movies or TV shows elsewhere. Probably too early for another film or film trilogy, but...
Controversial. What if we just didn't do another one?
Yeah, let it sit for a little bit.
Yeah, we don't need to always just be doing sequels.
You could do something like Bates Motelli about the city that it's in, Haddonfield, right? You could just do something about the backstory of that town. Maybe there's always something like Michael Myers that comes up. You never know. There's some chance for some good writing there.
I would love to just see the police department that can't capture Michael Myers. Like you hear about the murders and it's like a true crime thing, and we know it's Michael Myers, but about the detectives trying to solve it. That would be interesting.
Hey, there's a lot of potential there.
Hey, the strike's over. I'm writing. I'm in.
Yeah, there you go. And get your 2%.
Yeah. Next coming up, a Haunting in Venice producer teases more Hercule Poirot movies to come. I think I talked about Haunting in Venice this last time, that it was probably the most underwhelming of the 3 for me. I have read a lot of Agatha Christie. A lot's an extension. I've read a few Agatha Christie books. and there's definitely content to make more movies from. I just think they need to really steer in a direction for people that haven't read the books. I think Haunting of Venice was a bit too close, but I'm excited for it. I love whodunit movies, so I'm in for whatever they come out with.
Sure. And some of the best things you can say about those films is that they're directed by Kenneth Branagh, who plays Hercule Poirot, and you can tell that he's passionate about it, and that's probably the best parts of those movies. And if he's got the energy to make them and they keep making money, then hey, go right ahead. They're going to have an audience.
Yeah.
Kind of changing a little bit of gears here, Martin Scorsese is continuing his assault on the MCU, but also on blockbusters in general. This is a little bit interesting. A recent interview has stated that he is saying that we are facing the end, the death of cinema.
He's been saying that for a bit, though.
Which is kind of, it's literally just wrong. Yeah, sure. Like, the MCU isn't contributing towards, like, the progression of cinema and, like, I mean, sure, there are some, like, really good things about them, but, like, some kid's gonna watch Avengers Infinity War and be inspired to start making movies of their own. Like,
it's already happened 100%. That's already in existence.
100%. And I think that's really discounting that. I think, if anything, put your assault on on bad movies. Just, and talk about studio interference. Why do you have to hate on movies that, I don't know. With
continued comments like this from him, though, I think we may be witnessing the death of Martin Scorsese slowly but surely.
And he said he's only got one movie left in him. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. The guy is a great director. He's one of our best directors from American history. But, like, he's become the crotchety old man. And
I just feel like that's so funny. Him saying, like, in my bones, my energy, I only have one film left. Like, it's something crazy.
Like, when he pushes the button that releases the last movie, he just, like, fades away into, like, Thanos dust, I think is what's going to happen. Martin, you're just wrong. You become the crotchety old man. I'm sorry. Love you, but I'm sorry.
Speaking of sequels, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, Smile 2 set to release October 18th, 2024. So one more year and 1 month, and we'll get the sequel to Smile. I actually enjoyed this movie. I think you may have seen it, Garrett. We may have differed a little bit on it. I thought it was pretty classic horror and stuff, but I thought some of the stuff was executed pretty well. I think it lost me a bit in the end, but I'm excited for a second one. I thought the premise of kind of taking a Reddit creepypasta and flipping it into a full-length movie, I think that's the best version of that we've gotten so far. So I'm here for it.
Yeah, I think my biggest issue with that one is that, like, it was made by someone who was clearly, like, a fan of A24 movies and knows how to make a movie visually, but the script just was not as interesting as I think it was trying to make it seem.
Yeah, I think it had super similar vibes to Barbarian, but just not executed as well in terms of...
Came out around the same time, yeah.
So very similar, A24 inspired, but just didn't quite land it. But I like horror movies, so I was down for it, and I'm down for the next one, too.
Yeah, and if there's anything we've seen, horror is having an amazing year. Let's keep it going.
Yeah.
Like, horror is, if anything, horror is having a huge resurgence, which is awesome. Moving right along, though, Sicario 3 is apparently still happening with star Benicio del Toro. Sicario number 1 being an incredible film. I have not seen Sicario 2 yet, but hey, I'm
the
always
first
down
one's
for
like a 9, second one's like a 7.
Yeah, hopefully they can fine tune a little bit more. I know the director of Sicario 2 is doing the upcoming Call of Duty movie, so
that's cool. I think they need Emily Blunt back. She was like all equally as instrumental in the first movie, being incredible.
Yeah, the movie's about her, but like in many ways. And I mean, a lot of people, that I know are like, it was better without her, and I'm like, I don't think so.
No,
people just like the action scenes, but they don't see the actual, like, good writing intention.
The reason that movie's good is because she's as good as she is in it.
Well, everyone's as good as they are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but she stands out for sure. But excited to see this is still happening. Hopefully we'll get word on it soon now that the Writers Guild's strike's over.
Yeah, and last but not least, Ballerina is on hold. This is the offshoot film of the John Wick franchise, starring Ana de Armas, and so it's on hold, but the director's cut is ready. So they pretty much have like the long extended version. They're just trying to figure out the theatrical cut in order to go ahead and release it, but on hold.
Still no word of a release date yet, but it is at least in a form where they could release it in some capacity. Apparently the director said it's a really fun film. So I am looking forward to that.
I do know that I know we talk about movies here, but I know that the Continental TV show, I was really excited to find out that it's only 3 episodes. That was a big win for me. It's not a full season, so if you were hesitant like me, or you're just excited to watch it, that is starting really soon. A 3-night event about the Continental Hotel from the John Wick franchise, so might want to check that out.
Yeah, I know the reaction from critics has been pretty mixed. I don't think there's been. Is there a fan score yet? I want to double check here. Yeah, Metacritic. Yeah, it's pretty mixed. Like 54 from critics, 6.7 from fans. So, I mean, obviously, if you're a fan of John Wick, you're probably going to watch it regardless.
Yeah,
as you should. You should watch anything if you want to watch it. Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that is it for the news. Let's go ahead and get some of these comments in. We have quite a few of them. Our good friend Kevin, co-host of Movie Club, says, "Hello, hello, Mr. Kevin. Zach, are the boys into Star Trek?" Adrian?
I have been in the past. I feel like I go through phases. I did watch 2 of the newer series. I watched Discovery and
Brave New World.
Oh my gosh, no. It's the guy Picard. Yeah. So I did watch those 2. Those were pretty good. I definitely fell off of them. I have gone back and watched the original before, and I mean, osmosisly through my dad, like watched Star Trek. So I know enough to be interested. I'm excited for a new movie like that level, but I couldn't tell you every episode or anything like that.
Yeah, I've definitely enjoyed them before. I really like The Next Generation. I think it's the best of the series. I have yet to watch the movies. I need to do that whole binge of everything.
You haven't seen the 3?
No, I've seen like the newer ones.
Oh, not the originals though.
I'm talking about the original ones. There's like 6 of the original series and like 5 of Next Gen. So, I mean, yeah, I like Star Trek as much as I like Star Wars, which like my Star Wars love's kind of fallen. Star Trek and Star Wars are kind of on the same level now. But they're different things. Star Trek is sci-fi, totally. Star Wars is fantasy. Cassidy, I hope the Spirit Halloween movie is a rom-com between building and cosmic entity that takes it over every September.
I hope there's a really nice meet cute in the middle of the Spirit Halloween.
You never know. We'll have to figure out. The movie's going to be on Shudder next week. So, Zach, do we think award shows should showcase placing first to third place for the different awards? It'd be interesting to look back at what the podium would be year to year. What do you think, Adrian?
I think that's interesting. I don't think it should be announced during the show, but I definitely think the list should be public. I feel like that would be really interesting to know for just historical context of how close it was.
I'm gonna hard disagree on this, actually. I think like you're already seeing what the top 5 were in every category for that year, or however many nominees there are. And I think that the entire point of an award season is to reward the best of what came out in that given year. And I think that if you just show like placements, that's kind of like, it's eliminating the point. The night's not just about the winners. It's about like film as a whole, or music as a whole, or TV shows, or whatever the award shows are about, and celebrating all the nominees. And then someone wins. But I don't know.
I think I've changed my mind. I think I like your stance better. I think I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be just weird because like knowing social media now, like if someone found out that they got second place by like 5 votes, there'd be like, oh, boycott this, and it'd be stupid. So, and that's why we have YouTube channels. We can make our own videos and give it to the real winners. Our good friend Joey or Jose, nonsense. Halloween needs to make money no matter how terrible the plot. I mean, it's one of the biggest horror franchises of all time, if not like in the top 5 at least. So it's gonna make money. I think like Adrian and I said, I think they could just take it in a smarter direction.
I think they need to pivot from just the classic film that they make. I think they need something different, like we talked about, that I think would really help.
Yeah. As we mentioned earlier, our good friend Nadia from Horror and More, I vote to be in the next Halloween movie, preferably the slutty blonde that gets killed in the first scene. Go for it.
Congratulations. Hey, you know what? I get 2% of all film revenue moving forward. I'll make sure you get written in there.
Nadia, if you were in a horror movie, not only would I be incredibly proud of you, but I feel like that'd be like the highlight of your career. So go for it.
Dang. Well, I'll say this, Nadia. I hope that it's just the beginning of your career and that it goes even
Well,
higher.
obviously, until you get to another.
I'm just kidding.
It's making me sound like an asshole when I was being complimentary. Just kidding. Zach, Scorsese's got real okay boomer vibes. Yep. He has for a while.
100%.
To be fair, he's doing a lot of really good work for the preservation of old cinema and like
He's
film
booming.
reels and things like that. He's booming in that category, but he's not booming when it comes to recognizing newer film, because his entire statement's like, okay, sure, you don't like blockbusters, but then that eliminates movies like, Barbie, which were really good films that were also blockbusters, or Oppenheimer. Like, learn what you're talking about, bud.
Yeah.
Cassidy, I hope Scorsese plays soccer in Sicario 3 sincerely.
A lot of S's.
A lot of S's. And then Zach says, Golsese.
Golsese is awesome. What a good Cassidy passed the ball and Zach scored.
Yeah.
Scorsese. He's Scorsese.
Now I gotta go reinstall FIFA and make a custom character and name him Golsese. All right. That is it for the news and the comments from that today. Let's go ahead and jump into the trailers that came out this week. And there were not a lot of amazing trailers that came out this week. Biggest ones are probably going to be VHS 85, Argyle, and then the rest of them are going to be more indie films. Anything stand out to you this week, Adrian?
Yeah, I mean, you said it. The VHS 85, I mean, that whole series is just interesting to me. I watched the first one when I was pretty young, and it was just fascinating because I was like, oh my gosh, Rob, this is crazy. So I liked the tone to it. I liked this trailer. I feel like they got the effects right. Like, it feels dated, it feels old, and I think that's really cool.
Yeah, I haven't seen the most of the VHS movies, but I think 85 looks like it's really taking it to the next level, so this should be exciting. The Argyle teaser that came out today is just a teaser. We're getting the full trailer tomorrow, and that is the same director as Kingsman and Kick-Ass, so I am excited to see what that's going to be. I am actually going to say I did really like the trailer for Garden City, Kansas, which is an upcoming documentary about a city in Kansas that is just very multicultural. There's a lot of Somali and Muslim people that live in the area, but there's a huge Mexican population as well. It's very multicultural, right? And it's about one man who decided he wanted to kill as many people as possible, and the FBI that thwarted what that man was going to do. So, Very interesting. But that's going to be it for the trailers for this week. And let's go ahead and turn it over to my thing, where I get to talk about the movies where I watched over the course of a given week. And I actually watched quite a few movies this week. So let's go ahead, compared to last week. So let's go ahead and talk about them. First up was The Little Mermaid from 2023. Most of these movies are 2023, just so you guys know. Did finally check out The Little Mermaid, and I said it's one of the better live-action remakes so far. The Little Mermaid is a good but flawed time. Not every performance is as good as Halle Bailey as Ariel or Melissa McCarthy as Ursula, which I never thought I would praise Melissa McCarthy ever, but she proved me wrong. The green screen scenes are noticeable, but the visual effects are pretty solid. Every once in a while, you can see items not obeying water physics, but it's not too bad or too noticeable. The songs are great, new and old, but again, the film just lacks most of the heart of the original. It does better than a lot of the other live-action remakes, but definitely lacks a little something. After that, I checked out the new Hulu horror original, No One Will Save You, and gave it a 70. I said there's some really intense moments and heart-crushing reveals that lift this above your typical streaming fare. Caitlin Dever's performance is awesome, and the story is pretty bold for how long it is. It's only about an hour and 30 minutes. I'd say not all of the visual effects look incredible, and it does feel like more of an amateur effort, someone who doesn't have a lot of films under their belt. But it's not bad enough to make the film feel less than it does. I would say that the ending of the film is a little bit of a stretch, and it may take a rewatch to check it out, but I hope this director makes some more stuff because it has some great cinematography and I think it looked good. After that, checked out Elemental, Pixar movie from this year. Gave it an 80. Going into this as a cynical, jaded single adult, I was surprised how much I enjoyed the film. Sure, it's not Pixar's best work or its most profound, but the message it carries is a bit heavy-handed, but it is a necessary one. I thought the performances were good, and the world building was good as well, and the ending hits home. I'm sure others will have a different take, but this feels like Pixar is back on track to being what it once was again. Let's hope it continues. I actually enjoyed the movie a fair bit. After that, checked out Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, which is now streaming on Paramount Plus, and gave it a 70. I think it's good, not great. On one hand, it's a gorgeous film that echoes Spider-Verse but doesn't copy it. It also brings in more characters than we've ever seen in a TMNT movie. However, I think its humor is its weakest point. It has jokes and references for adults, yet is marketed towards kids. So that means that it's borderline unfunny most of the time, and everything feels forced and kind of written in a way to like inject youth culture into things. The main turtle actors can be a little annoying, but they're teens and not adults, so it's forgivable. But it is a nice reset after those horrible live action films produced by Michael Bay, so can't fault it too much. I am interested in its sequel, though. It does tease what's coming at the end of the movie, and I'm more excited for a sequel. After that, checked out Gone in 60 Seconds, the original from 1974. An incredible car chase, easily probably the best car chase ever, if not in the top 3. Cannot save this film from horrible acting, bad dialogue, and amateur filmmaking in its first half. Luckily, the entire last 40 minutes of this film is the car chase, and it is a masterpiece that makes the film worth watching. Did give it a 51. And finally, went back and watched one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies ever, which is the Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie, giving it a 73. As an MST3K fan, this does feel a little too polished, clean, and watered down compared to their episodes. It's still a great time, though, with great jokes, and it roasts a truly bad movie. If you're not a fan of MST3K or haven't seen them before, this may be a decent intro, but I would still recommend watching one of their classic TV show episodes instead. And that is it for the movies that I covered this week. If you want to see anything else that I've covered, you can check out my Letterboxd, which is on the screen right now, by going there and checking it out and giving me a follow.
I haven't gotten to see No One Will Save You yet, but it is on my list that I do really want to watch. Is it true that no words are spoken through the whole thing?
There's very little dialogue.
And that's what I heard, that it's actually good. Like, the storytelling is mainly done visually, which is really cool.
It's a show not tell thing for sure, which is good. Yeah. It's just, I would say, just know going into it that, well, no, I'm not going to spoil anything. I take it back.
All right.
Just watch it.
No, good list, though. Sounds
got
like
some
a good week.
Comments, though. Zack Stanridge, 2 weeks away from the Marvels, and I'm shocked they haven't done a super trailer. It needs a rocket strapped to its back, and a dope trailer could do it. Hey, maybe we're getting one later this week.
Super well said. I completely agree. I think that the movie's like has a lot of people teetering on like, yeah, it actually does look pretty good, but like not sold on going to the theaters for it. It definitely needs that final push.
Yeah, like give me a reason. You know,
show me something. Don't reveal, like keep the secrets. Keep your secrets, Marvel man. But definitely needs to show something that gets me to the theater, because right now I have no plans of going to the theater to see it.
I mean, aside from the fact that, you know, I watch as many movies as possible and I'll probably review it, there's nothing that's driving me to go see it, for sure. Cassidy, what's your fave live-action Disney remake, both of you?
Peter Pan. Just kidding, it's terrible.
The one that came out this year?
Yeah, was it this year or was it last year?
Peter Pan and Wendy, I think it has Jude Law as Captain Hook.
Yeah, terrible film.
So interesting. I was so excited for it because it was the same director as The Green Knight, which I was really...
Yeah,
I love
horrific
that movie.
film.
Huh, interesting. Maybe I'll put that on this week.
Live action Disney film. I feel like one of the only ones I've seen, maybe I'm forgetting some, but I would just say The Lion King. Like, I thought it was a pretty apt redo of the film.
Yeah. I'm going to say the Jungle Book. Jungle Book is easily the best one.
Totally. 100% the Jungle Book.
Yeah. 100% Jungle Book. We have yet to see anything else that kind of gives it a run for its money. I would say the closest one that comes to it is probably Little Mermaid, honestly.
And I haven't seen Little Mermaid, so.
Zach, crazy that Little Mermaid might be a top 5 live-action remake. Perfect example of a movie that's 20 minutes longer than it needed to be. I would agree it was a little longer than it should have been. But I think that they're in making it 20 minutes longer, they flesh out a couple of things that give some things more meaning, and I think give it a little bit more purpose. It definitely felt like, okay, they at least had like a vision for it and wanted to, you know, I don't know. It felt like it, like, obviously we don't need it, but at least made enough of a case that I could try to understand why they made it.
Sure.
So I didn't even mention in my review, but I think what's his name? Javier Bardem is probably the most miscast character in that entire movie, which is unfortunate because he's a great actor.
All right. Well, enough about what Garrett did watch this past week. Let's go ahead and talk about what's coming out this weekend in case you want to go to the theater. And bear with me, there's quite a few, so I'm only going to say a little bit about each one. First, probably storming the box office this week, we have Paw Patrol, the Mighty Movie. A magical meteor crash lands in Adventure City and gives the Paw Patrol pups superpowers, transforming them into the Mighty Pups. This is going to be huge. This comes out on Friday, theatrical wide release. Only an hour and 32 shorter than I think we all thought it would be. So a bit of a bummer there, but definitely head to the theater to see this. I'm sure everyone knows, but Chris Rock spearheads the entire cast on this one. So definitely head out and see that. Then we have The Exorcist 50th Anniversary. This is the sequel to the 1973 film about a 12-year-old girl who is possessed by a mysterious demonic entity, forcing her mother to seek the help of two priests to save her. This one comes out on Sunday, or Monday, actually, just before our next live stream. But 50th Anniversary Edition, you'll actually be able to catch it in theaters. Garrett, you might know, actually, this says sequel. Was there like an original source film?
If it's the 50th anniversary of The Exorcist, it's the original. So I think it's just mistyped.
There's not like a source film that's unknown? Interesting.
No,
okay.
it's based off of a book, but that's about it. Maybe they got it confused because the sequel's coming out soon.
Maybe. So apparently not a sequel. If there is a sequel, let us know. Then we have The Creator, the movie I'm definitely going to go see this weekend. Described as a post-apocalyptic thriller involving a future impacted by a war between humans and AI. Getting really, really good reviews. 88% on Rotten Tomatoes right now, and 100% on some other sites. I'm not sure what Metacritic is, but definitely going to be really good, by the director of Rogue One, if you like that movie. So super excited for that. Then we have Saw X. Chasing a promising procedure that would allegedly cure his cancer, John Kramer heads towards Mexico to go through an experimental treatment, only to find out he was prey for a scam. Now the scammers become the prey on Jigsaw's new game. Pretty exciting stuff. Then we have The Kill Room. A hitman, his boss, and an art dealer and a money laundering scheme that accidentally turns the assassin into an overnight avant-garde sensation, one that forces her to play the art world part against the underworld. Samuel L. Jackson's in that. Then we have On Fire. Follows a family who lives in a trailer home in the woods and are suddenly confronted by a wildfire. Survival becomes their main objective. We have 1521. Danny Trejo is in this. In the pre-Spanish era Philippines, a young native princess with goddess-like beauty falls in love with a dashingly handsome Spanish soldier. Against all odds, and pulled apart by their loyalties to their own people, they fight for their clandestine romance. A bit of a Spanish twist on the Romeo and Juliet. Then we have Dix the Musical, produced by A24. A pair of business rivals discovers that they're identical twins and decide to swap places in an attempt to trick their divorced parents to get back together. Seems super fun. Producers of The Greatest Showman, director of Borat, kind of a super house of musical and film in one, and A24 backing it, so definitely seems really, really interesting. Then we have The Re-Education of Molly Singer. To save her job, a young lawyer must undergo enrolling as a freshman at her old alma mater in order to resuscitate the well-being of her boss's terribly awkward teenage son. Seems like a wild one. Then we have Story Avenue. South Bronx teen Kadir is a gifted visual artist who loses his way following the death of his younger brother. Overcome with grief and struggling with the pressures of school and family, he escapes into the thrilling yet dangerous world of graffiti gangs, seeking an outlet for the creative force threatening to explode out of him. That one seems really, really interesting. And then last but not least, we talked about this last week, Stop Making Sense, the 4K restoration. Last week, it did come out to theatrical limited event in IMAX. It is now expanded to wide release. And if you didn't hear it last week, considered by critics to be the greatest concert film of all time, the live performance was shot over the course of 3 nights in Hollywood's Pantages Theater in December of 1983 and features Talking Heads' most memorable songs. And we did look it up last week. It is the #1 rated or reviewed film on Letterboxd for what was it, like documentary?
It's the highest rated documentary by film buffs. Yeah.
Yeah. So
which is crazy.
Definitely check that out. Also an A24 production.
Yeah, it was going to be the way to see it. If you've never seen it before in 4K and a restoration, it's definitely going to be worth it.
Yeah.
I might actually do that this weekend. So, but cool. That is everything that is, in fact, coming out this week. We have some comments. Number 1, is Dix the Musical real? And number 2, is that not just The Parent Trap?
Yep. Yep to both.
Yep. But a musical version. Zach, do we have any new news on a Top Gun Maverick sequel? Watched it again last night. Would love to be back in that world again. I've heard nothing. If anything, I don't think Tom Cruise would be attached to it. It'd probably be Miles Teller and the younger generation that maybe takes over. I don't know. I haven't heard any whisperings. There hasn't been any talk of a sequel.
Yeah, I just did a quick search. There are currently no concrete indications that Top Gun 3 will happen.
So you never know.
There is growing clamor for the threequel to happen, though. People do want a third film, just like you. And I do too. I would love a third one. But I would need Tom Cruise to be attached to it, to be honest.
In some way.
Yeah.
And lastly here, Zach, G, did you review documentaries? Yes, I have reviewed several. Actually, in my top 150 film we put out on the YouTube channel, there are 2 documentaries in there, 3 documentaries. So, I would say I don't watch them as much as narrative film as a whole, but I do, for certain. Yeah. That's the answer for that. Yeah. But that's enough about what's coming out this weekend. Let's talk about what came out last weekend and how well they did. I did not update that on the spinner.
You guys totally should have heard when we were preparing in the lobby here. It was like, I've already updated everything. Don't even worry about it. And then here we are.
Well, you know what? Luckily, it's just that. Okay, so yeah, The Nun 2 retaining its box office crown with $8.6 million. Expendables 4, which is apparently borderline unwatchable, coming in with $8 million. 3, A Haunting in Venice, with $7.2 million. In fourth place, Equalizer 3 with $4.8 million. And again, Barbie holding on with $3.2 million in its... I don't even know how many weeks it's been out. I need to check. I want to see how much money this movie has made total so far. It's got to be near $2 billion. Worldwide, Barbie has made $1.4 billion.
Wow.
Hey, it's a great movie. So, alrighty. That is it for that. What was that? Uh-oh. The music has changed. It's time for you to get in those suggestions for what movie you want me to watch next week. Type in any recommendations you have. We'll put them into the wheel and we'll spin that wheel and see what I'm going to have to watch next week. We have 9 people watching, so don't be afraid to put in more than one suggestion. Hey, it could work in your favor. Nadia had 2 picks last week. So, speaking of which, let's go ahead and talk about the movies that I was recommended to watch last week. Up first, from 1994, was Serial Mom, starring Kathleen Turner. Gave it a 68 out of 100. I said that this movie is straight up unhinged from beginning to end. Every part of it, from Kathleen Turner's great performance to the way it tells its story. It's definitely a quirky and weird film for those that are unfamiliar with John Waters' work. I think this film does struggle in its supporting cast, as I don't feel anyone gets nearly on the same level as Turner, and I do feel like it struggles with tone. I think going for this weird comedy kind of vibe just doesn't really work for the film, for me personally. It just feels like an odd mix. It doesn't always fire 100%, but it is still a fun time. It's definitely on my guilty pleasure list. It was a lot of fun to watch, and Kathleen Turner was great. Just a lot of the supporting performances were near terrible. And then the other one that I watched was The Possession from 2012 and gave it a 30 out of 100. I said The Possession has a really unique premise of highlighting Jewish folklore instead of the typical Christian folklore possession. It does do enough to justify its existence, unlike the loads of other possession movies we see. And it also has a few unique scares, and I can appreciate the lack of jump scares, so it does earn some points there. However, I feel like its premise and great actors and Jeffrey Dean Morgan and Jennifer Jason Leigh are wasted on this film, which I think is just, in my personal opinion, I thought the film was very ugly. I thought it was edited horribly. and has no likable or connectable characters except for Zadok, who's the Jewish rabbi. And just the film feels really amateur. Like this feels like a student film that was not good enough to get an A. There's no color in this film. It's very like green and gray and black and white. It's kind of like a. Adrian knows this when we talked about Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. That movie's very brown and nothing else. Very similar in that. Also, the film really just keeps like every time something happens, it cuts to black and plays a piano note. It's really annoying. I can see how people would really enjoy this film, and I praise them for it. Hey, go out and like your films. It just, for me, it just kind of fell flat. So, which is going to happen. It can't always have a winner. But make sure you type in those recommendations, and we'll get them into the wheel for next week. Wow, we've had a lot of comments.
You're telling me.
Yeah, Adrian's the one who has to write them in, so I do not envy you. But make sure you get those in so that we can, in fact, talk about what we're going to be watching over the next week. So, I think we can give it a. What do you think?
Sorry, you have to keep talking because I'm still typing.
No worries. Probably give you guys about another minute or so. If you have anything else you want to get in, anything you can think of. Reminder, if any movie has already been viewed or has already been reviewed by me on Letterboxd, we'll let you know as it comes up on the wheel. Even though I've seen quite a few movies, I still know I'm pretty sure ones that I have or haven't seen. So make sure you get them in, and we can review it further from there.
All right, we'll wait a few more minutes here. Or not minutes, sorry, a few more seconds.
30 more seconds, yeah. Currently, Letterboxd is saying that these are just films that I've reviewed. I have reviewed 854 films. Holy moly.
Almost at 1,000.
Almost there. I doubt I'll hit 1,000 by the end of the year, but you never know. That would be a really sad goal if I hit 1,000 movies by the end of the year. All right.
Oh, we're getting some more. Yep, hold on.
Let's cut it off, though. No more suggestions, please. It has been a minute. Adrian will get those last-minute comments in here. And then if there were any comments outside of movie recommendations, we'll get to those after we do the wheel spin. All righty. Actually, looks like there were two more. So
yeah,
we'll throw them on, but no more. I'm gonna take a banner off the screen. There we go.
All right, let me go ahead and share my screen.
Let's get that wheel up.
All right, everyone. Here's all the list here. Do want to call out Cassidy? I think I caught the thread of all of her movies. I believe they all star Kevin Spacey, but I'm not 100% sure. First movie coming up.
Alrighty, I'm not looking at anything until I see the wheel stop.
Pet Sematary, I believe I've spelled wrong because I was typing really fast.
Pet Sematary, who was the person that recommended this?
Kevin.
Is it going to be the original or the 2019 remake?
He did not clarify. He did clarify other ones, but not this one.
If you want to go ahead and leave it in the comments section, let us know if you want to do the original or the remake. I have not seen any. I haven't reviewed either, so either way, it'll be fine.
All right,
but only one of them
coming up. The Switch. Ryan Reynolds, Jason Bateman, Olivia Wilde.
Oh, yeah, I've seen the movie. Yeah. Wait, no. This is the one with... No, you're thinking of something else. The Switch has Jennifer Aniston, Jason Bateman, Patrick Wilson.
Oh, also Jason Bateman.
I'm assuming. Who recommended The Switch?
Cassidy did.
Okay. That should be the one then. Alrighty. Well, those are the two movies. Sorry if anyone...
Would you like one more?
Well, Adrian's doing it anyway. Well, we'll see. We'll see who would have won.
Sorry, Garrett, you can't watch One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
Actually, we'll throw it on there.
Oh, just because it was that was definitely, if it had been a funny one, you would not have watched it.
No, I was gonna do it anyway, but hey, it's a good movie. So let's see here. What were the? Let's see here. It was the Switch, Pet Cemetery, and One Flew Over. Okay, awesome. Thank you guys, everyone, for getting those in. Let's go ahead and get through some of these comments here. With Ryan Gosling as Goose. Okay. With Ryan Gosling as Goose's other son for... Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. Let's go through here. I don't know if we're seeing any other comments. Just the... Geez, you may have to limit us to 2 to 3 choices from here on out. This looks a bit much. I don't know. Adrian, you're the one typing them in. What do you think?
I thought it was okay. There's a comment coming up. I did get it wrong for Cassidy's guess. I saw Wet Pajamas profile picture, and that's very similar to Cass's profile photo on my phone. So I thought she suggested Moon, and that's what led me to immediately think of Kevin Spacey. So I apologize. But I think the number of choices is fine.
Okay. Zach, the entire Amanda Show series.
That one was not included. It was a TV show.
Missed the entire point of the whole movie part, but sure. I'm trying to see if there's any. There's a lot of comments on here. I'm trying to think if there's anything I remember off the top of my head that I have reviewed. I know I have reviewed Office Space, and I definitely don't like it as much as other people. Cora and Maura agreed with Jose. Limit it to 2 to 3. Maybe we'll do that next time.
I think we just limit it to a timer. Like whatever, we actually throw a timer up on screen, and that's the amount of time you have.
Sure. Cassidy, wrong. Jen, and all right. And people agreeing. Toxic. Okay, so it is the original Pet Cemetery. Okay, we'll do. Then Danelle, let's see what the third would be. And we did. And it was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And then Cassidy, as someone who's listening live and on YouTube, there's about a 5-second delay. Something to keep in mind for final wheel submissions. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, we do hold out for a bit there. The trickler ends are typically included.
Yeah. Alrighty. And that is it for the Wheel of Fates. We've got 3 movies coming up next week, which is pretty exciting. Adrian, what have you, as we kind of reach the back end of the show here, any comments, questions, concerns, criticisms, go ahead and get those on in. We're here to talk just while we have the time here. But Adrian, what have you been watching? What have you been doing?
What have I been doing? I did watch Detective Pikachu, just for fun.
For the first time?
No, second time.
Okay.
First time since theaters, especially with me now playing Pokemon Go a lot more. It was really fun to kind of see all the Pokemon. My quick review of it would be that it does rely a lot on the Pokemon showing. The movie itself feels a little rushed and thrown together. The plot, at least, it definitely jumps a lot of plot points really quickly, and just suddenly it's oh, now this is happening and now we're here, and then it's very kind of clunky in that aspect. But it was really cool to see a lot of Pokemon, including my favorites, on the big screen. And then also watching a show with Cass called Dear Child. I think it's a French show that's really, really interesting. I'm not going to spoil any of it, but highly recommend it. And then I also finished Annihilation, the first book in the Area X series that the movie's based on. And now I'm reading Authority, and then next is Acceptance, and then I'll be done with it. I will say that the book is much more engaging than the film. The film is very good. I really enjoy the film a lot. The book definitely brings a lot of other questions to the table, and is more just a really insightful read. So I highly recommend it. It's really short. It's I think 200 pages or something, but highly recommend it.
Awesome. Yeah. I remember seeing Detective Pikachu in the theaters, and I remember enjoying it, but I definitely do need to watch it again. I find it interesting that and Mario are held up as good video game interpretations, but both of them are very jumpy with plot, and which is interesting. So it tells me people don't want a well-written movie.
They just want their favorite things in it.
Yeah. But as far as me, I have been. I was able to watch more movies this week. I've kind of been putting Starfield on hold just for a little bit because I don't want to overplay it and burn out on it. I just going like I did that first like 2 weeks. I was really heavy into it, taking a break so I don't not want to play it anymore. Still playing a little bit of Mortal Kombat 1 here and there, but mostly been trying to watch some movies and catch up on those, especially 2023 stuff that's been on streaming. After this, I'm going to watch the new episode of Ahsoka because this last half of the season of Ahsoka is really good. Because we're finally getting some really interesting things.
I saw this meme. Let me know if it's correct. It's someone saying, like, me when I didn't watch 4 seasons of an animated show watching Ahsoka, and it's just someone like, what is happening?
Yeah. My parents are watching Ahsoka right now, and every once in a while they like text me and they're like, "Who is this person?" And I'm like, "It's this," and they're like, "Oh, okay." Like,
Yeah.
I will say, like, I know what happens in the animated series. I'm not a fan of them just because I hate the art style. But it's still really cool to see these characters in live action. I mean, come on, when Thrawn showed up last week, oh boy!
Spoiler alert, Kevin.
It's been a week, and we all knew it was coming anyway. Cassie, I think it's German.
The show, Dear Child.
Oh, okay. I was like, what are you talking about? Zach, random thought. How do we think a Wizard of Oz remake would do in 2023? James Franco's remake was hot garbage, but a truer retelling would be interesting.
I mean, we're getting Wicked, the film, so we are getting 2 films, but to your point, not necessarily like directly Wizard of Oz. So yeah, go ahead, Garrett. Do you have an opinion?
I don't know. I think it would really depend on who's in it and who's directing it. I would need to know that I would want to feel that the film is in good hands. And yeah, I don't know, because I think I feel like some would do it like the James Franco film, like Oz the Great and Powerful, right? It just becomes this like CGI abundant film when you could just really shoot it like you used to on sound stages and sets. And I think it could have a magic to it, but I don't know. I don't think audiences would really find it interesting nowadays.
I also think they would overcast the Scarecrow, Lion, and the Tin Man.
Yeah,
I think they would need to be like the all-star. So this is not who would be like Brad Pitt as the Scarecrow. Like they would need it because it's such a pillar role. I think it would just be. I think it's a recipe for disaster all the way around.
Yeah, I can tell you exactly what they would do. They would hire a relative unknown to play Dorothy. Yep. And then they would overhire on the Tin Man, the Cowardly Lion, and the Scarecrow, and then they would really overhire on the Witch, and then it would be a CGI overfest.
Yeah,
I don't know, not really looking for that. Ahsoka's getting good for me on episode 3. Awesome, glad you're watching it. Episode 3 was probably the weakest one, but that's just because it was a lot of just space flight. But it gets really good after that, so keep on it. Did not know James Franco did an Oz remake. We actually covered it on the podcast. We covered Oz the Great and Powerful. It's not that good of a movie.
No.
Who would be a modern day Dorothy?
I agree with Zach's answer.
Zach says Sid Sweeney. Cassie says, "Oh, that's perfect." I don't know. I feel like they would go in like a completely different direction. Who would play Dorothy?
Do we think it would be a male?
No, it would definitely still be a female. I'm thinking someone who is like the first that comes to mind would be like Rachel Ziegler, who was in West Side Story and the second Shazam movie. She's also playing Snow White in the upcoming movie thing, but that might be too close to Wizard of Oz. But this is all hypothetical anyway. Definitely someone younger. I don't think that they would go for someone who is, older. Someone who's definitely not as big. Like you can't cast Margot Robbie for that kind of a role. I think, the whole point is that character like
is an unknown from a small town. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone who has presence but is not like established. I'm gonna say Rachel Ziegler. I think that's kind of my first pick. Either her or Ariana DeBose, maybe. Got to go young with Dorothy. Younger for sure. Yeah, like 16 to 24-ish, probably in that range. Jose, ideally just a well-made remake without over-the-top CGI, modern handicapped ideals, etc. Just tell a good story from the source material. I agree.
Agree.
Yeah, as long as it's not like Tim Burtonified, I think would be fun. Like there's that Wizard of Oz like TV movie they did. It was like almost like a horror movie. With like I think it was Disney did it. I don't know. It was really odd. I think I would want to see them take the traditional Hollywood musical route, like 30s, 40s classic age of cinema type feel. Yeah. Maybe Damien Chazelle, the guy who did Babylon and Whiplash, and La La Land. I think he has a knack for that kind of thing, and he likes classic Hollywood very clearly. So he could be a good fit for it. But awesome. Yeah. Well, if you have any other comments, go ahead and get them in. This has been some fun conversation. We also have to make good on our promise from last week. The random video at the end of the presentation, or the end of the live stream, excuse me.
Oh, I don't know if we promised that. I think we talked about that after it ended. But
I thought we talked about that at the end of the stream.
We may have, but yeah.
It'd be really funny to do just a random video.
It has to be under 3 minutes. But you can post any video in the chat, and I will look it up and show it.
And it could, obviously,
I'll pre-filter it for I'll watch the first few seconds of it to make sure. If anyone has any fun videos, but while you're figuring out videos to submit or not, you can find us anywhere that you want at Real Watchers. Nope, that's not what real starts with. REELWATCHERS. Anywhere that you follow anything on Instagram, you can get a hold of us, message us. If you're watching us here on YouTube, you can subscribe, hit the like button, hit the bell. We go live every Tuesday. We have Real Watchers Movie Club where Kevin and our other co-host Garrett. Nope. Yep. Similar. They go ahead and they review the IMDb top 200 films of all time. So they're going through one by one and watching through all of those. And then Garrett also puts out some really good video essays regarding movies, tier lists, and things like that on the channel. So make sure to subscribe for all of that good stuff. You can also find our entire historic back catalog of podcast episodes from when we did the drive back. So if you're interested in anything that we talk about here that Garrett says, oh, we've reviewed before, or that I say oh, we've already talked about that, you can find our entire archive there. And then if you're watching us on Twitch, just make sure to follow. We go live every Tuesday.
That's absolutely correct. We have a new episode of Movie Club coming out this week, so make sure to check it out. It is going to be on the classic animated film Princess Mononoke. So very exciting to talk about that one. Cassidy, just looked up Rachel Ziegler. She was named after Rachel from Friends. We have come full circle.
Wow, Jennifer Aniston references this episode. Friends. Wow.
Yeah. Zach, what modern franchise do you think will be dead in the dirt in the next decade? My vote is either Jurassic Park or the Fast franchise.
Jurassic Park, I think, is for sure done for the most part. In film, I could see a TV show being good, but I think film-wise, it's done.
Cassidy has a really good answer with Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I think that's a good answer. I think Jurassic Park is a good answer, too, because we kind of got the definitive last one. There are more movies they could make based off that premise that they leave with, but I don't think they should. If anything, I think we should wait, 10, 15 years and then get a book-accurate Jurassic Park. And not market it towards kids because it's always a borderline horror book. My pick is I'm actually going to say Mission Impossible, especially with the recent one not performing as well, and then the next one being the final part. I think they're just going to leave the franchise dead and gone.
I feel like they're close enough to 10 that I can see them doing the Fast franchise and just going the full stretch. Mm-hmm. But I do agree that's a great call that it's also on its way out. I think the stunt done in it needs to be bigger and better every movie, and it just wasn't that for this one. So I think we'll see how part 2 goes, and then I guess we get to go from there. But yeah, Indiana Jones is a great call.
I also think it's very possible that we could see Transformers die out soon.
I feel like it already is.
I don't think Rise of the Beasts was incredible, but the tease at the end was so good. I want that movie to happen. Should I spoil it? I mean, I don't think anyone's really going to watch Rise of the Beasts.
Go
at
ahead.
the end of it,
Click out.
Yeah, if you don't want to spoil it for Transformers Rise of the Beasts, you might want to hang out or head out. But at the end of the Transformers film, Rise of the Beasts, the main character, I forget, Anthony Ramos is the actor, gets this job offer for some shady-looking government guy, and then the government guy hands him his business card, and he flips it over, and the business card says G.I. Joe. And the fact that they're going to combine Transformers and G.I. Joe is so fucking cool.
That's cool.
Like, which they've been trying to do for years. But the problem is that Michael Bay still has authority over what happens with the franchise, and he's the one holding it back. And someone just needs to go out and deal with that, because we need to have G.I. Joe crossover with Transformers. Is James Bond a hot take? Yeah, I would say so. I think the franchise is very successful still.
I think it reboots every few years, and I think we'll see that continue forever.
I think once the Actors Guild strike is over, I think we will see who is going to be cast in the next film. And I think Christopher Nolan said that he would love to do a James Bond film. So there is hope yet.
That would be pretty cool.
Also, Charlotte's Web, 2 movies is too many. I didn't know there was a second one. Is it like a sequel or like a remake? That's okay.
I think it's a sequel.
That's getting to be a whole lot more than I intended that to be. Yeah, I mean, sure. I didn't know it was a franchise. I thought it was just one movie. So that's a good answer. I don't know. Do you feel like we could see Dune end after part 2 and 3? Or do you think that'll go on?
I think they'll make more, but I don't think they'll be anywhere near as successful as Denny's films. I think it will fall off pretty substantially.
Sure. Kevin, movie of the year, right? Or I'm guessing you're saying right now, what we're calling movie of the year. If that's what you meant, you can go ahead and clarify. That's a very good question. If that is what you meant.
I mean, it's probably Barbie at this point.
I'm looking through what I've kind of reviewed this year and what I've rated everything, and I think yeah, right now. Okay. For me right now it's tied between Barbie and Oppenheimer. I think Oppenheimer takes the cake in terms of a film that I think is more traditional. I think Barbie is really reminiscent of the new upcoming voices in Hollywood, and so I think that is nothing to shake at either. I think those are really good. Zach has a really good answer though with Across the Spider-Verse also being a very good movie, which is very true.
Yeah, I don't know if it's movie of the year though. It was definitely crossed my mind. It's in the top 5, but
for sure, I think it's just as good as the first one. So yeah. I think it's worth discussing and worth talking about. Yeah, I'm kind of going back and forth on Barbie and Oppenheimer. But yeah, we haven't seen some of the other bigger releases that are coming this year that are considered like really good coming out of the festivals.
The Creator this weekend.
The Creator, which was we talked about last week, which is actually getting more mediocre reviews as reviews are coming out. But yeah, that comes out tomorrow. Or this weekend, excuse me. Also, I think like Killers of the Flower Moon is coming out, which looks like it's going to be really good, even though we're talking about Scorsese again. And there's also a lot of other movies that are coming up too that are more independent films. All of Us Strangers is apparently an incredible LGBTQ film that could have some Oscar potential. And yeah, a lot of stuff we haven't even seen yet. So would make podium right now. Yeah, Spider-Verse would make the podium right now, I think. Do you think The Creator would dethrone your movie of the year? I don't know yet. We haven't seen the movie. I think visually,
I hope so.
I think visually, it's probably one of the most interesting movies of the year next to Spider-Verse. But I don't think it would. I don't know if it's going to dethrone Oppenheimer. And then Zach, but we don't believe in podiums. Nope.
So he's not going to make one.
Are there any movies that critics dislike or that are technically flawed that you both still like regardless? Oh, definitely. I think we both have reams of guilty pleasures.
We had a full, multiple episodes dedicated to that in our podcast. Yeah, there's a bunch. And we won't tell you now.
Yeah, go watch our old content. No, I'm just kidding. I really, for me, one that fans didn't like, that critics didn't like, and it was very flawed, but I still enjoy it, is the 2019 Hellboy.
And I really liked Golden Army, the second one too. I really like that one.
Golden Army is very highly regarded, though.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it was nominated for a couple like visual effects and makeup Oscars, and a lot of people consider it better than the first one.
I didn't know that.
You're not alone.
Cass actually brings up a one that I really like too, Alita: Battle Angel. That's one of my favorite films. That one was also pretty highly regarded, but I'm trying to think. I feel like I really liked. I'm going based off that you said critics disliked. I feel like I really liked National Treasure: Book of Secrets, which I feel like wasn't received as well. I really enjoy all the Fast and Furious movies except the most recent ones. Like those have always been panned pretty heavily.
If I had to pick something from like the last 2 years or like last year or so, I would say probably one of the biggest ones for me is Skinamarink. That was very, very hit or miss with people, and I think it's fantastic. But I know that I'm in the minority on that one. That's the whole point of that question.
I really like the movie. I'll pick one that I can think of off the top of my head. I'll pick In Time, the Justin Timberlake, Amanda Seyfried movie.
Oh yeah,
I think that movie's just super fun.
I heard literally someone from work referenced that movie during a meeting. And I was
awesome.
Like, what
was it me?
heck?
Did I call in?
Yeah, Adrian's actually a client of ours. So, Zach, Norbit critically underrated. Oh, Jesus. Don't remind me that film exists. Oh, that movie is so painful. Don't watch it, please. But yeah, that's a bunch of really good answers for that. In Time, loved the concept. Yeah, it was a cool concept. Just don't know if it was executed very well. John Carpenter's The Thing was lambasted, and look at it now, 100%. But I think what Pajama was going for is that I think things that are just like overall viewed as not good that we still like.
Yeah.
But I think that does fit in with the critics disliking it for sure. I don't think it's flawed technically. I think a lot of people recognize that film is very much a masterpiece in terms of like makeup effects and tension for sure. Even when that came out, I know Ebert and Roper weren't like the biggest fans of it, but they really praised it for its effects and for its tension. So, cool. Well, we're heading over an hour, so we can. If you have any last minute comments, go ahead and get them in. We're not really on a schedule, but I do need to eat. I'm sure Adrian needs to eat too.
Look at that shape.
So we call that the Flying V. Gibson is going to
For
sue
Vendetta.
you. No, there you go. Go-to horror movie during Halloween. It sometimes changes.
I really like the house October built is kind of a guilty pleasure for me. Critically pretty poor, but like a found footage kind of film. I really like it. It's just a fun one for me.
My usual pick for Halloween is usually Evil Dead 2. That's usually the movie that I would watch every year around that time. I love that movie. So, Cassidy, Garrett, you forgot about Land of the Lost. No, I didn't.
But it crossed your mind.
No, it didn't. It's on the other side of the river, so buried far. It's not nearly as buried deep as Norbit is, but at least Land of the Lost had some artistic merit to it. Zach, I call the Flying V something else in my household. You don't want to share with the class? You didn't bring enough gum for everyone? What's this?
Damn.
No, I'm just kidding. You don't have to share if you don't want to. Alrighty, everyone. Any last minute comments? Make sure you get them in. Adrian, do you have any like plans for the next week? Like anything that you're going to be checking out and watching? Any TV shows, movies, anything like that?
No, nothing that I know. I mean, I'm going to go see The Creator this weekend. I'm seeing the band The 1975 on Thursday.
Nice.
Never heard. I mean, just their popular stuff. So going to that.
It's a band I've actually heard of.
Did you watch the Blink video that I asked you to?
I have not.
I did watch the video you sent me, and that was a wild song.
Isn't it? Isn't it? It shouldn't work as well as it does. It's crazy. And the only thing that's AI about that is the fact that the guy actually sings it and then applies the AI voice over it. It
was a pretty wild time, yeah.
Dropping some fat bars in that song. Let's be real. No, I'll check out the video after this. What a shit friend.
Damn.
I mean, yeah.
Well, on that note.
Yeah, on the note that I'm apparently a horrible friend, we will go ahead and end the stream. Have a good night, everyone. We will see you next week here on the show, Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Same time, same place. So, should the Blink video be the live stream send-off video of the week? That's a good question, Adrian. You want to do?
Is it something that you want?
Is it? How long is it?
It is 3 minutes and 28 seconds.
Hey, there you go. 3 minutes. Let's do it. Good call out there.
Well, now everyone's gonna see my private.
We're just gonna see the freaking video of the Pikmin again. Is all we're gonna see.
Yeah, that's all it is. It's the 3 minute version. Oh gosh. Okay. Well, stop the music.
Oh, hi, Nick Nocturnal. Glad to see you on there.
Wow, it's pretty vulnerable. Thanks for listening, everyone. Should we watch the video Garrett sent to me?
We can. It is so much different than that.
No, I think that's a great song, though. We could.
Yeah. Zach says Travis looks like he's on a different planet. Yeah.
In the beginning, I never really realized he's just staring in a single point the entire time.
Yeah, and I like how he's literally only there to bring out the brushes and just.
For anyone that isn't aware or hasn't followed Blink, every single one of those was one of their iconic music videos backdrops as throughout the years from their initial Warped Tour performance. So very, very cool and nostalgic.
Danelle says, I hope airplanes aren't falling out of the sky. Well, I hope so. I hope not either.
In case you didn't know, Travis Barker was in a plane crash where he almost died. So that's why they talk about that. And when they say sickness, Mark got like stage 4 cancer and then recovered.
Wow. Trav's got on more beanies than shirts. Yeah,
100%.
Seeing him in a shirt at the end was definitely different. And then Danelle says, love it. Awesome.
Do you want me to pull up yours?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay, we'll end. This is now music sharing.
So to explain mine, it's some solo artist named Boy What, and a lot of the music that they make is music that they make themselves, but then they apply an AI filter to their voice to make it sound like a SpongeBob character. And so this is a song that is supposed to be Plankton from SpongeBob singing about Plan Z. So, yeah. That's about it.
One studio session later.
The crusted crab's going down when I drop this heat. Plan Z's making sound, have them at their feet. They got a lot of shit to say about the chum bucket. Let's see who's laughing last when I turn them into holographic me. You better run, better run. Just one bucket helmet and you're done. Turn your friends and your family into chum. The secret formula will be mine soon enough. You'll all see. No more wasting all my time. You're the beach and I'm the tide. I'm about to break out. Plan Z. Hey Karen, pull up that file for me, please. I'm gathering up my whole family tree. No F-U-N, only D-O-N with a capital E at the end from my best friend Eugene. You better run. Just one bucket helmet and you're done. Turn your friends and your family into John. The secret formula will be mine soon enough. You'll all see. No more wasting all my time. You're the beach and I'm the tide. I'm about to break out. Plan Z.
AI, you're not we are taking over. Bikini bottom will sink even lower. The crusty crack formula's our last key.
I'm gonna show 'em all blanks. The secret formula will be mine soon enough. You'll all see, you'll all see, you'll all see. No more wasting all my time. You're the beach and I'm inside. I'm about to break out, I'm about to break out. Plan C. I never give you the formula.
Yeah. So
Incredible.
dude, the chorus goes so much harder than it needs.
It's a great song.
It's like, and even then, like the vocal frying or the screaming sounds like Plankton would yell, and it's perfect. It's so let's see here. Yeah, basically the same video. Yeah, pretty much. That's why I sent it to Adrian or told him he should watch it. Is that Garrett on vocals? No, unfortunately. I wish I could vocal fry like that. Love to imagine that this was Garrett's exact response to
That's basically what happened. That's
well,
I was like, "Hey, you should check this out." And he's like, "Hey, you should check this out."
like, you know, you got to trade, right? You know, you got to. Yeah, it's also just like it's one of those things that you think it's a joke, but then it just hits so much better than it should. Joey, this is a masterpiece, a magnum opus. The Sistine Chapel should put this song on their ceiling. Yep. More truth in that song than there is in the chapel ceiling. Cassidy, never forget when Karen suggested Plan Z in the SpongeBob movie. It's true. All over dinner of holographic meat. Not gonna lie, the lyric that's like I'm the beach and you're the beach and I'm the tide is pretty freaking sweet. Anyhow, but yeah, now you get a little peek into what we listen to outside of the show.
I loved exactly how opposite those two things were.
Very opposite. You know, honestly, I was expecting the Blink song to be faster. I wasn't expecting like a more acoustic.
They have they released two in the same day, and the other one is really fast. It's called More Than You Know, and that's like a very Blink song. This one was more like the reunion song, the nostalgia, like we're back together thing.
Because this is they're officially all three of the original back together, right?
Yeah, Joe and I went and saw them on tour.
Awesome.
On their latest one, yeah.
Alrighty, everyone. Well, that's a great place to end the show. Hope you all have a wonderful evening, and we will see you all next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Same place, same time. Until then, keep your eyes on the screen.